And ladies and gentlemen, once again, welcome to this exciting segment today on the 24th day of August 2021. Well, I'm not going to go by the weather bureau's report, but I'm just going to look out the window and I'd say it's raining. It's not very heavy, but it's slight rain, overcast sort of day in Brisbane at the moment, and it's 19 degrees. Well, it's wonderful to have your company. So today, in this 9 a.m. segment, we're going to look at the Daily India Report with Ankita, all the way from India. That's the PIO TV news. Then we'll look at glimpses from the Ravishing Fashionistas show which took place, and of course we will then have a very exclusive interview on Australia's women's football. Yes, on women's football and how it's changing life, what kind of impact it has on people, plus of course our normal 9 o'clock news. But what we're going to do today is, because this is a collaboration between PIO TV and Australian Indian Radio, we're going to go straight to the Daily India Report first before we bring to you those interviews and glimpses. So here's our Daily India Report coming in collaboration with PIO TV.
Welcome to the Daily India Report that brings you glimpses of the changing India and the growing engagement of the Indian diaspora with India. In our first story, Indians are being evacuated from Afghanistan on a war footing. On 22nd August, India airlifted 392 people from Afghanistan, including 2 members of parliament. And more evacuation flights are on the way. Nearly 400 Indians evacuated from Afghanistan, and India continues to bring back its citizens and others from the war-torn Afghanistan. On 22nd August, a total of 168 people, including 107 Indians and 23 Afghan Sikhs and Hindus, were flown from Kabul to Hindon Air Base near Delhi in a C-17 heavy-lift military transport aircraft of the Indian Air Force. Separately, in the evening, 146 Indian nationals who were evacuated from Afghanistan to Doha were repatriated to India. Another group of 87 Indians and 2 Nepalese nationals were brought back in a special Air India flight from Dushanbe a day after they were evacuated to the Tajikistan capital in an IAF 130J transport aircraft. As many as 135 Indians who were earlier evacuated from Kabul to Doha in the last few days by the US and NATO aircraft were flown back to Delhi in a special flight. With Sunday's evacuation, the number of people brought back by India from Kabul reached around 590 since 16th August. Farid Mamunze, Afghanistan ambassador, thanked Indian friends for their messages of support. India carried out the evacuation missions in coordination with the US and several other friendly countries. Following the evacuation, the MEA said the focus now would be to ensure the safe return of all Indian nationals from the Afghan capital. External Affairs Ministry spokesperson Arindam Bagchi posted pictures of the evacuation efforts by Air India and Indigo flights. 2 Afghan members of parliament and their families were among 168 people arriving in India on 22nd August morning. The group had 24 Afghan Sikhs and Hindus, including the 2 minority MPs, Narinder Singh Khalsa and Anarkali Kaur Honaryar. They said India is their second home. They had been living in Afghanistan for generations and pray now that Afghanistan is rebuilt and they can go back to tend to our gurdwaras and temples and serve the people, Khalsa was reported as saying. They thanked India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi, the Ministry of External Affairs and the Indian Air Force. Some reports said that the Ministry of External Affairs has reached an agreement with the US security forces to allow 2 flights per day for evacuation of Indian nationals. Meanwhile, a firefight broke out between unidentified gunmen, Western security forces and Afghan guards at the north gate of Kabul airport on 23rd August, reports quoted Germany armed forces as saying. Australia has said that it is willing to assist with evacuations from Afghanistan after August 31st if the United States decides to delay its withdrawal. Britain, meanwhile, is planning to ask the emergency meeting of G7 on 24th August to impose economic sanctions on the Taliban. US President Joe Biden indicated he would support Britain's push for sanctions if the Taliban committed human rights abuse. US President Joe Biden told reporters that the Taliban had not taken any action against US forces controlling Kabul airport and had largely followed through on their pledge to let Americans reach the airport safely. Sanctions against the Taliban are unlikely to be adopted immediately, according to experts and some diplomats. India has responded with lightning speed to deliver 100 tons of liquid medical oxygen to Sri Lanka to fight COVID-19 pandemic. India lived up to its neighborhood first policy as Indian naval ship INS Shakti delivered 100 tons of liquid medical oxygen to Sri Lanka on 22nd August. This is to help the island nation combat the COVID-19 pandemic. Lanka's Ports Minister Rohita Abeygunawardena received the cargo and hailed India's assistance. According to the Indian High Commission, the deployment of the Indian naval vessel for the delivery of oxygen was in response to a personal request for assistance by Sri Lankan President Gotabaya Rajapaksa for an urgent supply of liquid medical oxygen. Sri Lankan naval vessel Shakti, with 40 tons of LMO on board, also commenced its journey from Chennai to Colombo around the same time as INS Shakti. India's assistance to Sri Lanka during the pandemic has been varied and need-based in nature. Close to 26 tons of essential medical supplies were gifted in April to May 2020. Currency swap of $400 million was provided in July 2020. The first consignment of vaccines, which was donated by India in January 2021, enabled Sri Lanka to roll out their vaccination program ahead of schedule. Sri Lanka is currently experiencing a rapid rise in infections. The death toll exceeded 7,000 with nearly 200 fatalities, the health authorities said on 22nd August. Pakistan has agreed to allow pilgrimage to Kartarpur Sahib Gurdwara to fully vaccinated Sikh pilgrims. Pakistan has decided to allow fully vaccinated Sikh pilgrims to visit Gurdwara Darbar Sahib via the Kartarpur corridor from September with strict COVID protocols. This announcement comes ahead of the 482nd death anniversary of Sikhism founder Guru Nanak on September 22nd. The Kartarpur corridor has remained closed since March 2020. The Indian government is yet to reopen the corridor due to steep rise in cases. The decision to open the Kartarpur shrine was taken by Pakistan's National Command and Operations Centre on 21st August due to the approaching death anniversary of Sikhism founder Guru Nanak on September 22nd. Only fully vaccinated individuals who are in possession of valid vaccination certificate will be allowed to enter Pakistan through Kartarpur corridor or Wagah border. A US policy research organization has advised the US government to attract STEM students from India and other countries as key source of talent for US employers. Recognizing that STEM graduates from India and elsewhere are a significant source of talent for US employers, a leading policy research organization in the US has called for measures to attract more international students and allow US universities to offer high-quality academic programs. A study titled International Students in Science and Engineering by National Foundation for American Policy said that the number of American students pursuing graduate degrees in fields like computer and information sciences and electrical engineering is relatively low and not enough to sustain programs at several universities. At many US universities, it is difficult to maintain important graduate programs without international students, and maintaining a welcoming policy on international students is essential to preserving America's role as a center of technological innovation. Such a policy means reasonable visa policies for international students and making it easier for students to work after graduation, including preserving STEM OPT, optional practical training, and improved policies on H-1B visas, per country limits, and employment-based green cards. The NFAP analysis said that in 2019, there were only 9,083 full-time US graduate students in electrical engineering across US universities compared to 26,343 full-time international students. Similarly, in computer and information sciences, there were 17,334 full-time US graduate students compared to 44,786 international graduate students. These international students go on to form an important part of the tech workforce in the US, the study said. Over the past 2 decades, foreign-born scientists and engineers have played a critical role in filling the demand for high-level technical talent in the United States. China and India sent the highest number of international students to the US. Between 1998 and 2019, the annual number of full-time international graduate students in computer and information sciences increased by 310%, while the number of US students increased by 91%. The trailer of the web series Mumbai Diaries is out. It stars Mohit Raina and Konkana Sen Sharma. The series is a fictional drama that pays tribute to the frontline heroes set against the backdrop of the 26/11 terror attacks. Bollywood actress Konkana Sen Sharma has shared the teaser of her upcoming web series Mumbai Diaries. The show also stars Mohit Raina in a pivotal role. The teaser begins with Mohit Raina and Konkana Sen Sharma with intense looks, dressed as doctors who were trying hard to save the casualties from the night that is etched in the hearts of the Mumbaikars. The story revolves around the deadly night when a group of terrorists attacked Mumbai. The series is a fictional drama that pays tribute to the frontline heroes set against the backdrop of the 26/11 terror attacks. Sharing this teaser on her Twitter handle, Konkana wrote, quote, "Let's not forget those who dared to stand against all odds and did their duty. Hashtag Mumbai Diaries on Prime, new series September 9. Directed by Nikhil Advani along with Nikhil Gonsalves and produced by MA Entertainment, Mumbai Diaries 26/11 stars Konkana Sen Sharma, Mohit Raina, Tina Desai, Shreya Dhanvanthari, Satyajit Dubey, Natasha Bharadwaj, Mrunmai Deshpande and Prakash Belwadi.
कभी ना खत्म होने वाली रात को
मिलकर खत्म किया,
क्योंकि उस रात
That's all for this bulletin of Daily India Report. Thank you for watching.
Thank you very much for our team from PIO TV and Sabab, very happy birthday for yesterday. And right now, talking about birthdays, it's time to wish someone very happy birthday. Very happy birthday to Devika. I hope that your day is filled with joy. And thank you so much for everything that you do and also for your unwavering support for Brisbane Indian Times and Australian Indian Radio. Really, really appreciate that. May the God's blessing be with you always for the amazing work that you do out there, Devika. So it's from all of us, all our entire team of Australian Indian Radio, Brisbane Indian Times and Chentex Multimedia Streaming. It is wishing you all the very best for your special day. And of course, we really, really appreciate all your efforts and all the things that you do. Well, ladies and gentlemen, right now it's time to go for our interview today. So for our interview, we're going to be speaking with, of course, Julie and Julie Dolan, who is from women's football in Australia. And football is Australia's game-changing football partnership with Commonwealth Bank has officially commenced, and with the partnership aiming to alleviate women's football for all Australians. The Football Australia and Commonwealth Bank partnership has set CBA on its trajectory to become one of the largest investors in Australian women's football, injecting millions of dollars into the elite women's game and grassroots initiatives across the country over the next 4 years. It is an exciting time for women's football. The Matildas' recent performance on a world stage showed that young Australian women and girls can achieve great things. And of course, they do. And the partnership will strengthen the games at all levels as World Cup 2023 approaches. In the recent weeks, the Commonwealth Bank Matildas broke the record for the largest audience for a women's team sport in Australian TV history, with an average television audience of 1.87 million tuning in to watch Australia and Sweden in Tokyo. This is a sign of how the team has captured the hearts and minds of Australians everywhere. And with the support from CBA, there will be many new initiatives and growth over the coming years. So with that is wonderful news. It is good to see, that all these are happening. Right now, let's see if we can get Julie on the line. Well, okay, yeah, Julie's connected, but it's just that she's connecting via phone and not via the video link, so we'll have audio only, but that's still okay. Thanks, Julie, for your time. And right now, let's talk a little bit about Julie. So Julie, as you see there, is a pioneering Australian women's soccer player who has appeared in 18 of the international matches for Australian women's national team during a 10-year career. She debuted in the natural representative side aged just 14 and was the first captain of the Australian team. Doolan has raced in Sydney's Sutherlandshire and started playing football at an elite level age 13. She played for Sydney club of St George, Budapest, Marconi Stallions, Gaima Bay, Ballina, Sutherland's, Grange Thistle and Arncliffe Scots. She participated in the Australian teams that contested the first Asian Cup in 1975 and the inaugural Women's World Invitation Chinese Taipei. So, it's wonderful that we've got Julie on the show here with us today. So we will be, talking to Julie in a minute. So, when we look at all these sports, many times we say that, women cannot play certain sports and that, it's more male-centric. So, Doolan, how has women's football changed from you were playing, till now?
I think one of the significant changes since the time I played is the rise of social media. And that's enabled people to make their own choices about content that they watch. The number of viewers now on social media watching women's sport has in turn influenced mainstream media. So we're much more likely to see women, making great football saves, blasting away great goals, and mainstream media profiling our female athletes. The other really major change is the funding in the women's football, and to have the CommBank partnership contributing so much just shows how far the women's football game has come.
Well, that is very, very well said there, Julie. As we know, that when we talk about the social media, yes, of course, and of course, this channel that we have started is one of those things that embracing that, because we've had the Australian Indian Radio, Brisbane Indian Times, and then because of the rise of social media and the platforms and things available to us, we said, look, we are the media people. We do get all these releases and those things and interview opportunities. Why don't we put it to social media? And hence our quest for that and our initiative that we should find and look for it and find out better ways and means of reaching out to the people. And so well said that it is the rise of the social media that has also given rise to viewers, especially watching women's sports. So that's good. What does it mean for the Matildas to have such a major partner backing the game? As you have just rightfully mentioned that, without funding and without the support, these things do not happen.
It's a landmark moment for the Combank Matildas, and the sponsorship support will help football reach and attract more women of all ages and backgrounds.
Yep.
And sponsorship enables football to showcase its product, so it's much more possible to put events on, advertise those events, and profile the athletes taking part. And that's where, you know, the public actually gets out to see these female athletes in achieving incredible victories, their athletic skill and prowess, and also the diverse backgrounds that the players come from. And they become role models for, you know, younger players and people to look up to. And that encourages more people to the game or to simply be involved in the game.
Julie, I think one of the points that you mentioned there that, one, women, and number two, coming from diverse backgrounds. So it is good to see that, you are addressing that issue as well, because, today Australia is a very successful and multicultural community, and people coming from all sorts of backgrounds, all living together, and sport and music, are two things that can unite people. So sport, can bring all these cultures together. So I think that is a wonderful thing that you've just mentioned there, that, bringing, women from the diverse background into there. So, looking at the 2023 World Cup, well, it's coming upon us. So how will the 2023 World Cup grow participation among young Australian women?
So the 2023 World Cup will help a lot to grow participation. It puts football on the main stage, and it's right in our backyard. So a lot more people will want to get involved. They'll want to get to the game. They'll want to see the game. And it's giving young players role models to look up to and see on the main stage, a world stage. But it's not just about the teams. It's all encompassing, with funding across the board for not only the players, but also people who are involved in refereeing or admin or, in coaching. It's a significant move.
Well, it is, and you rightfully mentioned that, it's not only just the players who take part in the team. There's so much more that goes on there, all the support staff, all the people, the referees, as you just mentioned there as well. So many times people look at just, these are the players, they benefit from that. So, it cuts across the board, which is very good. So, looking at young women and, the motivation that they probably need, what would be your advice for the young women, who are thinking upon doing something or coming into the sports?
My advice to any young person who wanted to get involved in sport is to basically be aware that there's so many opportunities these days to get involved at whatever level suits them. It's also becoming a lot more possible to make a career out of your involvement, if that's what you want to do. Mm-hmm. In essence, I guess my message is be what you want to be, because there's opportunities out there.
Be what you want to be. Opportunities are there. I love that, that kind of attitude, because, of course, people who are left behind are only left behind by their self-limiting thoughts, their own self-limiting thoughts, their own belief systems. Yes, quite well said there, Julie. I do agree with that. Well, I'm also conscious of your time. I know you have other interviews today as well. So, if people want to know, so where can Australians go to find out more about this partnership that we just spoke about?
To find out more about the Combank partnership, you can head to the Football Australia website, and that's at footballaustralia.com.au.
Well, Julie, once again, thank you so much for being on the show and sharing that very, very valuable information. I hope that motivates some of our young women out there. Also, not so young, but women from diverse cultural backgrounds also to, come into this arena. There's so much out there, and, we need to break the stereotype and move forward. And women today are looking at the women empowerment. Women today are taking very active role in shaping the way and form that society has taken today. They're more active, and of course, there should be no barrier for them coming into the sporting arena as well. So, Julie, once again, thank you so much for being on the show. Well, right now, ladies and gentlemen, it's wonderful to have your company once again, and let's take a quick look at a message from our sponsors before we move into the other segment for today. Well, as we know that things like this show cannot happen without a sponsorship, so we'd like to thank GlobeNet Realty.
GlobeNet Realty. GlobeNet Realty has been the longest established, trusted and respected agency in its trade area. Washa Chandra, Director of GlobeNet Realty, provides honest and ethical service to her customers. If you are thinking of investing in Brisbane real estate market, or if you are seeking professional property management, then you should contact Usha Chandra today on landline 3865 4466 or mobile 0419 775 416. And for further updates, log on to our website www.globenetralty.com.au. GlobeNet Realty is your own local real estate agency. Situated at Shop 52281 Sandgate Road, Boondall. GlobeNet Realty. Real estate is our world.
Of course, real estate is the world, and don't forget that tomorrow we'll have the real estate update right here with Usha Chandra of GlobeNet Realty, providing to you all the stats and the graph of what's happening around the country, what are the auction results, what are the property values, and comparison of houses to apartments and units, all of those right here on this channel. Well, as promised, today we'll bring to you some glimpses of the Ravishing Fashionistas show, which took place at the Royal Convention Centre on Saturday, and well done Upma Kite and the team. So here's a glimpse of what happened and what you missed if you were not there, or what you got to see if you were there. And we were proud to be supporting that event as well. There's many events that we support, and that was one of the events that we supported as well. And of course, we like to see the stereotype being broken, and that is what what Upma's theme there is as well. So here's some of the photos from that event as well. So good lineup of the different kinds of the styles that were displayed there. So as you can see, all shapes and sizes and varieties, and that was. And Lady Maris, of course, what a moving speech, and she is such a good speaker and such a great advocate for our community, and always being out there at most of our functions and events and supporting the causes as she usually does. And it is always good to see her at these functions. And of course, Archana ji, she was there as well, and good to see her support always. And of course, at the event, there was quite a nice spread of cheese platters there. Very well done, wonderfully done. And of course, as I mentioned before, that Upmasi does a wonderful job, and thank you so much for having us there as well. And Lady Maras, as I said, always amazing to see her support for the community events. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's about all for today in this segment, and I'll leave you with that, and we'll probably join later on in the day with some news conferences. But this was a very, very good segment, I'd say, being more so on our community functions and events, and also looking at the Daily India Report with Ankita, brought to you in collaboration with PIO TV. So, until the next time, it's goodbye from me. And of course, after everyone, hopefully you have a wonderful day. And we know that Krishna Janmashtami is happening, so many people would be heading out to most of the temples. And wherever you go, whichever place you go, that's of your choice. But please always exercise care. Follow the rules and regulations set out by those organizers. Do the check-in by the Queensland app and check in properly, and check in for everyone. Don't slip past. Do the right thing, and the right thing will happen to you. And once again, a very, very happy birthday to a very, very special lady and a girl, Devika Maharaj. Once again, congratulations, happy birthday. Until tomorrow, it's goodbye from me.